Hey everyone, thank you for coming. We're going to get started in a few minutes. We have about another 5 minutes to go and people are rolling in. Thank you for keeping yourselves muted, and we don't need to have, you can turn your video off. We actually have a lot of people coming, so it'll be kind of hey, kind of distracting because I'll do that throughout the whole thing. Oh, hey, so, so you can keep your video off, and we will be doing some polls and stuff. So there'll be a lot of interactivity. It's just going to be sort of behind the scenes, but we'll get started in a few minutes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. We're just got a few more minutes here. If you can mute yourselves and turn your video off so I don't get distracted by seeing all your all your familiar faces. I don't know what it's like in your neck of the woods, but was monsooning here this morning. It was, I think we have a flood in the backyard, so not too pretty. I'm actually hoping for a little natural light at some point soon. We'll get started at about 10:30. People are rolling in, so glad you can all make it on a Saturday morning.
Christine, I'm going to disconnect and reconnect real quick. For some reason, my earpods are not using the audio for this. So, and my speakers on my computer are shot. So I'm having a hard time hearing you. I'm hoping if I leave the meeting and rejoin, it'll work. So just letting you know, I'll be right back.
No worries. Thank you. You don't need to get your camera working. We're going to have cameras off today. There's quite a few people joining, so we're going to keep the cameras off so I'm not distracted. If you saw me earlier, madly waving at friends I haven't seen in a long time, you'll see that will be a very distracting workshop if I keep doing that.
Oh, good. That means I don't have to go brush my hair. Good morning, Chris. Goodbye, Chris.
So I know a couple of you are wearing your pajamas. You texted me and told me so. All right, so it looks like first I'm gonna it looks like we have a good crowd showing up here, so we'll get started. First thing I want to do is welcome you, but want to introduce you to Jen Nordquist, my assistant, who has been helping with the registration. So Jen, if you want to just put on your video for a second and say hello to everybody, and maybe just talk about the how it's going to go with muting and that sort of thing.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jen. Thank you so much for joining us. If you could, just a couple house rules, keep yourselves on mute. We will have a time for questions and answers, and also keep your video turned off. We've got a lot of people joining us today, and like Chris said, she's going to get distracted waving at everybody. And while I enjoy that, I'm not sure it will add anything to the workshop. We will have some polls that you'll be able to answer, so feel free to participate. Drop some things in the chat box as well. If you want it to be anonymous, if you have a question or something, just change who the message in the chat box is to, and you can send it directly to me, and then I can get it to Chris anonymously. All of the polls are also anonymous, so feel free to answer openly. So I think that's all I have.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen.
All right. I'm going to go mute myself now.
Okay. Just like she said. All right. So let's get started. So everybody's coming from far and wide. I see some Arizona folks, Susan, and I know maybe a couple others are coming on. So thank you for joining us from afar, because I know it's super early out there. And I'm going to just, let's see, make sure my PowerPoint is working. Oops. So again, thank you for coming to the first ever Girlfriends Goal Crusher workshop. I will tell you a little bit about how this got going, because it's kind of funny. But first, for those of you who don't know me personally, there's quite a few of you on the workshop, which I'm really happy about, sharing this message with your friends so you could come on board. And I think I've probably met some of you at conferences before, speaking engagements. So really glad that you connected and came back to participate in this workshop. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris Thierry. I will be the host and facilitator today. I am now a coach and consultant after selling my business, which was a brand and marketing firm that I owned for over 24 years. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was 27. I'm a former agency owner there, and I put that in titles because I have a lot of agency owner friends on the call, and you guys know how tough it is to do that. So, anyways, it's a special breed. I also have my former business partner who owned the agency with me for a number of years, and other girlfriends from across the board who I'll talk about shortly. So I am a wife. I am a mother of 3 boys who are about to launch in some way or another, and I am a girlfriend to my my very close high school and kindergarten friends, some of them, and my book club and my running crew and my networking peer group, and I've got some different girl cousins that we get together with and clients on the phone. So I really, hope I'm a good girlfriend to all of you, and you are all great girlfriends to me. So thank you so much for participating today. I come to you today with being the practicer of imperfection. So let me just mention that so Okay, so I decided that this whole goals thing has been in my head for a long time. And I've been doing it with my clients, and I've been doing it on my own for a while. And I put it into a workbook a couple years ago. And I keep saying, I'm going to do a webinar. I'm going to do a webinar. And, but it was never perfect. It was never the perfect time. It was never the perfect place, blah, blah, blah. So I was at a small business breakthrough workshop, and they were encouraging us to just do it. Just do it. Who cares if it's a little imperfect around the edges? So that's why I'm showing you this picture of me over here, where I came right off the workshop and I said, if I don't do a video and post it live now, I'm gonna find a million excuses why not to do this webinar. So what I'm really wearing there is an Under Armour sweatshirt that I went and found a scarf, tied it around, did the video, and got out. Because if I thought about it any further than that, we probably wouldn't all be here today. So that is me starting to practice imperfection. And the other thing about the imperfection that you'll see today, I am sitting at my front door of my new house that isn't quite finished yet, because I don't have an office, because my office is out there in the pod. So another example of imperfection right in front of your very eyes. So you might find typos, I might trip up over my words, but whatever, this year I'm practicing imperfection. And you're going to practice something too. Okay. We want to know who you are. So this is a poll. We were initially talking about age groups, but I hate that kind of demographics, because age group doesn't tell you anything. Professional status, educational status, none of that really tells you about who our fellow girlfriends are today. So feel free and take the poll. As Jennifer said, it is completely anonymous, so we won't know who's who. But we just to get an idea to see who's here with all of us. I'm enjoying watching, and you should be able to see this all in real time too. So as this is populating. Just checking the chat here while you guys are. All right, 92% of you have voted so far. So this is cool. So nobody's dealing with diapers. God bless those who are. That's why they're not here, is because they're dealing with diapers. Glad to see not that many are married to their career, for sure, because sometimes that can be a beast. Empty nesters, I guess if I were voting, I would definitely put myself in that category. Couple people looking for big change. Some have kids at home. A lot have four-legged friends at home. Some in a life transition. A lot seem to want to elevate their game. Nobody's really in search. Well, one person is in search of a new career, and there's a few others going on. So if you have an other that you want to share in the chat, that's fine too. But I love seeing this. So a lot of different answers, and I know you could do also multiple choice. So very cool. Very cool to see all of this. Thank you. And I'm going to turn. Okay. So I have the goal workshop thing or the workbook that you guys all received in the mail. And that's sort of something I've been working through with clients and whatnot. But why did I decide to do the girlfriends, add the girlfriends component this year? It's really because over the course of the last year, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, I really ended up relying on my girlfriends and finding them to be the highlight in my week, especially during lockup and lockdown. And, my high school friends would get together once a week. And we initially started off thinking we'd just do it a couple times, but it turns out every week we have a happy hour, which is more like two hours. And we just chat, and I don't even know what we talk about for 2 hours every week, but it really is the highlight of my week. And I realized how much we rely on girlfriends like this. And my book club also has been meeting remotely, and my run club has been meeting. When I say run, that like everybody else runs, I kind of schlep, but schlep club doesn't really, ring a bell. So, we social distance, walk, run, that kind of thing. So, every interaction like that is so helpful. And I thought, wow, we should all try to make this part of our lives a little bit more. So, in this new year, I'm looking for people to be able to reconnect, build communities, even if we're not all together, help each other along on their journey and provide hope and that sort of thing. So that's why this whole thing kind of came together. So throughout the book, you're going to see this little button that says goal group work, because some of goal setting is very personal and you'll be working on it yourself. But other parts are things that you can lean on your girlfriends to help you with. So I hope that as you go through the book, and we'll go through it together. And, this is a 14-page book. We're not going to cover every inch in the next hour, but this is the kind of thing I just want to introduce you to. And then when you go back and work with your girlfriends, you'll see those special pages that you can really dive in deeply together. So the sort of order of the day is going to be reflection first, then goal setting, then building an action plan, and then leaning on your support group. So follow along in the workbook. Hopefully you got it. And if you didn't, just grab a pen and some paper and scribble it out, and we'll get you the workbook. It's really not, necessary. It's just a lot of sort of keeping track of your thoughts and ideas. Just want to check and make sure everybody's doing okay. So reflection. This image I really like because it's sort of a metaphor for life. You're driving forward, you're moving forward, but you sometimes need to look back to see how you got there, or, who you are and where things were to get you where you're moving. So in the idea of looking in the rearview mirror is you can't glance there for too long because you'll go off the road. So it's really just, I like to look at the past in a glance, because you can't change anything that happened in the past. You can only understand how it's getting to you to where you're headed. So I just like that image to start off the reflection, and knowing that sometimes you need to look backward in order to move forward, but definitely keep your eyes on the road. So on the reflection page, I just want you to, think about different areas of your life and the successes and challenges that took place. So, whether it was your personal relationships, career and professional goal, areas of health and wellness, your financial well-being, intellectual or spiritual, fun and leisure, and 2020's own COVID-19 adds a whole other area to everybody's life this year. So I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to sort of share mine. As you're working in your books, I'm going to kind of just share where I'm at so that you can kind of see how to fill it out and different ideas. But certainly, ask any questions if you have them. So some successes for me last year were selling our house. We wanted to downsize, and we were selling the big family home. And not only was it our family home where our boys grew up, but it's actually the home where I grew up myself. And I had moved away for about, I don't know, I was in New York City, and then I was in Worcester, and then I was on my own. So, and then I bought the house back from my parents. And so I've been there for a really long time, right when my son was a baby. So the success was we got this big, huge house that had been like with me for, 50 years to got it ready to sell. And we actually got 2 offers on our first day. And so it was crazy, how the real estate business is right now. So it was kind of crazy. And we ended up like packing up and moving out way sooner than we had imagined. And luckily we have a summer house that we can go to in the meantime, but we had bought a new house here that was not even close to rent. It was just, we actually tore everything down. So the challenge, was the new house was in construction. We were stuck between houses. We were commuting from Rhode Island. It was just kind of messy, so that was just something that was a challenge for last year. And then layer on COVID-19, and we ended up with our 3 college boys back home without a house. So here we are in this like 2-bedroom apartment with 3 big boys who eat a lot, like need full meals all the time. And it was just kind of craziness. So that was really a big, huge challenge of mine. But the silver lining, of course, is that we got to spend time with the boys at a time where we probably wouldn't have. And it was nice to have our family back together despite the close quarters. So I want you guys to have a COVID cleansing. Just put in the chat what the most challenging thing about COVID was for you. And the reason I call it a COVID cleansing is we can't, I mean, I know we're still in the middle of it, but we can't harp on what happened last year. We need to sometimes it's good to vent and get it out of our system. So if you can just throw in the chat, and certainly you guys can see the answers in real times, but just what people struggle with. We're all struggling with the same thing. And, I just want to say I'm super sorry for, if anybody's livelihood was affected by COVID, if you were in a business that really was hit hard, or God forbid you had a loved one who had a health issue because of COVID, I am really sorry about that. And I know that it's just been really tough, but let's, I'm seeing some homework balance and boundaries. Yes, all you moms who had to stay home with the kids and all of a sudden become educators while you were juggling everything else, I don't even know. Work stress, somebody was furloughed, a lot of alone time with people. Yeah, kids are a big thing in this, you're worried about them as well, and as everybody else. So, yeah, parents, mental health. Yeah, it's all crazy. So thank you for venting. I think that, I think this is great. And, hopefully it will be a cleansing and you can move on this year with a fresh new look. So I'm going to kind of move on, but these are, oh, I'm sorry to somebody's mom has to wait for the funeral. That's got to be gut wrenching. So, and social distancing is no fun. Yes, that is true. So thank you all for sharing. As we talk about challenges, and I just love this quote: failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success. And I love this little superhero here in the corner who clearly, hasn't had the world come crashing down on them yet, but really just that undying hope, right? And so as you were thinking of the challenges and your successes over the past year, think about your strengths and attributes that got you through the year. Now, I just want you to take a few minutes, jot these down, write what your strengths or attributes are. And as you're doing that, I'm going to just talk a little bit about my strengths and what got me through the year. So as many of you know, I am a Gallup certified strengths coach. And they believe that if people focus on their strengths rather than trying to fix their flaws, that their lives are immensely more satisfying and they're happier. And I truly believe this is true. So when I became a strengths coach, I obviously took my assessment, and there's 34 strengths buckets that people fit into. And they've been doing this research for multiple years, and millions of people have taken this assessment. And they've come up with sort of 34 strengths that people fall into. And my top 5, which are called my signature strengths, are strategic, futuristic, communication, achiever, and ideation. And for those of you who know me well, you're probably nodding your head yes, because these all fit with who I am. The one thing that they don't have in the book, and that I called upon this year, and that all my friends on this call will laugh at, was my new attribute, which happened last year, which was patience. Oh, did I have to have patience? Now, it's probably not the same level as a normal person's patience, but for me, I had patience. I am not a patient person. So I had to exercise patience. And this year I have to emphasize imperfection. So that's what you're getting from me now. For those of you who I would love to hear your strengths. Some of you took the assessment, so that's cool. And some of you did not, but those who didn't, I'm going to just give you a list. This is way more than 34, and there's thousands of adjectives out there that describe strengths, but feel free to throw your strengths in. I'll just give you a couple minutes to throw your strengths in the chat as well. Let's see what everybody's. I'm not sure if those are hard to read or, and I can tell you too, with my strategic and futuristic, it's an interesting combination that doesn't usually go together because strategic is all about making the plan and the map to get somewhere, but very tight. But futuristic is sort of like dreaming of the vision of the future. So it's not often that sort of strategic and future come together. So I kind of move quickly. And for those people who know me, I will blurt out the vision and then boom, let's get there because I'm strategic right behind, and the achiever thing comes in too. And that's, so that is sometimes tough to be around. I can be perceived as like the Tasmanian devil because I come in, got the idea, I'm spinning around, I'm leaving things in my wake to get it done. And so that's something that I just have to think about. But I think those qualities helped get me through last year with like getting my house sold so and having to motivate and pivot so quickly and having to adjust to all of those things. So great. This is awesome. A lot of you have taken the assessment. So that's super cool. And some of you are just, I love these. So this is great. I hope you guys are seeing each other's strengths. And I really want you to call on the ones that got you through going into this year too. So I'll kind of move on here. The next part of the book is to write your personal strength statement. And this is really not something that you can do in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but I will share with you mine. And I want you to capture your strengths, and because that's going to be the basis for your personal strength statement. And so mine, I always like to start in the present. I am. You don't want it to be, I'm going to be. You really want your body to feel as if you are already, even if it's like a stretch. So I am a strategic creative coach, inspiring people to realize their ideal futures through strengths building, ideation, and a little patience. And I should probably add, and a little imperfection to that as well. So that is something that you can work on. And it's a great thing to work on also with your girlfriends, because who knows you better than your girlfriends. So they can help you with your strengths, and they can help you put together this personal strength statement. You can try it out on each other. So that's a big part of a follow-up meeting that you guys can have where you're working on your personal strength statement together. And then here we have goal setting. So this is sort of our goal setting section. And the goal setting section is looking at these areas. So if anyone's ever heard of the Wheel of Life, that's sort of a coaching tool that people use to see, and it's usually on a wheel. I don't like it in the wheel because you can't tell exactly where you are. So what I like to do, so I just put them in their own buckets. So personal relationships, career and professional, health and wellness, financial well-being, intellectual and spiritual, and then fun and leisure. So as you're thinking of your goals, they can be all over the place. And I like to do a brain dump first. So on this goal gathering page that you probably got, if you had signed up early, you got these 2 worksheets ahead of time to start your brain moving about what your goals might be. So I love this to just be a brain dump, and don't edit yourself. Just dream big. I think Walt Disney had it right. He used to have these Imagineers, and they were big idea people, and they would just think up all these ideas, crazy, crazy ideas. But then he'd bring the engineers in to sort of edit and make sure what was real. Like, we want a roller coaster in the sky. We want this, we want that. And then edit after, because if you edit yourself first, you don't know what the possibilities are. So just do a big goal dump. And honestly, you could do 5 pages of this. But then what you are going to want to do is hone in on a few. And some people say more than 1 is too many. Others say 4 is ideal. I like to think in 3s. So I like to have a professional goal, a personal goal, and then like a reach goal, something that's like not this year, but like far off, but something I can kind of keep chipping away at. And if you're stuck at which area you should focus on, because you have so many goals, a good sort of barometer is to take your temperature, or, see if your bucket is full or empty on the different areas. So for instance, personal relationships. Again, I am blessed with all my girlfriends and my big Italian family, and my kids are doing great. And I am really just blessed right now with the really personal relationships in my life. And also for those of you who know me, hasn't always been full. So things are good right now. Career and professional. I loving where things are heading. I'm loving what I'm doing now, but I'm always like, what's next? What's next? What's next? So that's for me. Health and wellness isn't so great. As I said, I'm a schlepper, not a runner. I think that I'm going to be kind of working on that this year. This is one of my goals. Financial well-being, again, blessed, but there's always room for improvement. Intellectual, spiritual, that's an area I'd like to focus on too, just a little more professional development, something to, keep my mind sharp. Sometimes I like to take a class and I actually signed up for master class and I'm looking forward to doing some writing exercises with David Sedaris. So we'll see if I'm any funnier next year when we do this. And then fun and leisure, not so fun and leisure lately. I love to travel, haven't been able to do it. With the move, haven't been able to have that sort of fun and leisure time this year. But so I will share my goals with you. And then where I'm going to ask you guys, not necessarily for your goals, but what areas your goals were in. So my professional goal is, and you can feel free to do the poll as I'm still talking on. My professional goal for the year is to build up my coaching practice. I really enjoy coaching people. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from some of my clients who have made significant changes with the work we've done together. My personal goal is to do the whole 30 for all 30 days, not just 3 or 4 days like I usually do it and then get off the wagon. So I will say that I am 6 days into the whole 30 right now. And I'm saying it out loud. So now I have to, you guys have to hold me accountable, but I'm feeling good and we'll see if that keeps going. How's that for confidence? And then my reach goal is to launch my passion project. And I'm not going to go into it at this second, but if you want to stick around for just a couple minutes after this session, I'd be happy to talk about what my passion project is, because once again, putting it out there for you all to hold me accountable. So let's see which categories you guys are in. Personal relationships, everybody's doing pretty good. Career and professional, definitely. Health and wellness, financial well-being, nice. I love these. They're about 80% of you have voted. So health and wellness is winning out. Is anyone else? I'd be curious. I'm going to look in the chat. Is anyone else doing Whole 30 that I can commiserate with later? Oh, Jen, can you make sure the poll results are available? Okay, hopefully that did it. Can people see the poll results now? Oh, Shelly, we'll have to talk about the Whole 30. I can give you all my ghee and stuff that I probably overbought. Awesome. Cool. So I will move on. So it looks like health and wellness has won out, career and professional a close second. So very cool. And so I really like the fact that you guys are all sort of have a personal and professional goal as well. Okay, I'm going to close out the poll. So digging deep, this is something that you can also work on with your goal group. As you list, and you'll notice I have you repeating your goals almost on every page, and it's because they become clearer and clearer as you go. So if you feel like you can write it in a better way the next time, just keep honing it till you get, to the end, and it still might evolve over the course of the year. But exploring your goals, really what's in it for me and why do I want to reach this goal? Why is it important for me to reach this goal? And for me, like with the coaching goal, it's something I've been wanting to do. It's something I've gotten feedback on in the past that apparently I'm helpful to people with. And so it was time when I sold my business to explore some different things. And so that's why it's important, because now's the time to do it. And what would it mean for people around me? Well, for those clients that I still have, brand clients, you know, if I'm in a good space, even with my coaching business, that means I'm helping them. I'm coaching them on their brands and on their people and leadership and all of that stuff. So, and of course, it would hopefully directly affect my clients, my family. So it's nice to know how your goal can affect others. And then which strengths and attributes will I use to reach that goal? So keeping on that, building up my practice, you know, I think definitely strategic. I'll put together a plan, sort of envision what I want my future to look like, you know, really use that ideation to get there. And then who or what will support me? Again, counting on my girlfriends because they're always great support, but also my professional network, you know, maybe, well, of course, Jen, my assistant, will help me. She's been a godsend because I don't pay attention to details and she does. So that's great. And so think of the people or things, resources that you have that will support you. Likewise, you may find that there are people who challenge you or some things that challenge you or get in the way. And, you know, sometimes really good intended people sort of throw up a roadblock. Like, for instance, you know, somebody who's on a health and wellness journey. If you've been hanging around with people who, like, you know, eat chips all day and like drink martinis all night, you know, they might not be psyched that all of a sudden you're going to go on a health kick. So they might not be the ones you turn to when you're pursuing your goals. Chances are they'll have sort of an agenda and they want you to bring you back to normal for them. You know, so make sure you're choosing the people who lift you up and support you during this time. And you don't have to share your goals with everybody. You know, this can be something that's private, only shared with the people who will support you. There's no rule that says you have to share your goals publicly. So now making it wicked smart. For those of you in New England, particularly the Boston area, you'll like that joke. And then to all my friends out of the area, you'll like it also because you've heard me talk like that sometimes. So making goals smarter. This is a business exercise that helps people tighten their goals. So each of the letters stands for something. I didn't do the SMAAHHT, but specific, S is for specific. So make your goal as specific as possible. So for me, the whole 30 in 30 is very specific. That's a certain thing I need to do in 30 days. My building up my coaching practice is not so specific. That I need to get more specific. What does it look like? You know, what does building up mean? Does it mean getting more clients? Does it mean doing more workshops? Like, what exactly does that mean? So that's something I need to work on. And then measurable. You know, again, the whole 31 is great because it's measurable. Did I, you know, eat nothing today? No, I'm just kidding. You can eat stuff, but, and did I exercise, etc. Is it attainable? Yes, they're both attainable, even though I've only stuck to whole 30 once for the whole 30. It is attainable. I've done it. I can do it again. Relevant, yes, because my buckets were kind of empty. My bucket on the health and wellness was a little emptier, so it is relevant for me at this moment in time. And also the coaching thing is. And then in the time frame, 30 days. So as you work on your goals, and again, you're going to do it for each of your goals, make sure specific, measurable. And again, this is a great meeting for you and your girlfriends to work on together. So let's take a moment. I'm going to just look in the chat and make sure there's, yes, hard copies coming. If you did not get it, it was sent early this morning, but if for some reason you didn't get it, we'll make sure to send it along. So I want you to envision sort of accomplishing your goals. And again, this probably should take place in a quiet atmosphere with dark lighting and, you know, maybe some incense in a glass of wine, because always a glass of wine. And envision what you'll sort of be and feel like when you accomplish your goals. So come up with adjectives and descriptors that, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What will people say to you? How will the whole success thing sound? How will you feel inside when you've reached your goals or as you're accomplishing your goals on your journey? How are these things, you know, what is that in your mind's eye? And I like to pick also an image that sort of is representative of how I'm going to feel. I know I'm a little visual, a visual person, and not everybody's visual. I'm going to have a like sort of an idea brain, but just to share kind of what mine would look like is energy. Like I feel like when I reach my goals, I'm going to have this like tremendous energy and an uplifting feeling. And I just ran across this picture, which I love. But I also like to sort of just do a, make a simple shape out of it so that you can sort of, I'm a doodler. You can doodle it in the corner. You can, have it on a sticky note on your computer, but it just sort of brings you back to that feeling that you want to get to. And words that can describe how like I want to feel when I reach my goals is lighter than I am now, in the zone, energized, connected, possibilities, ideas. This to me gets me all riled up, and I just like love the feeling I get when all of this is happening. So you really want to just create an image in your mind and a feeling that you can go back to. So when you're kind of down with or challenged with getting through your goals, that you can really sort of go back to why you're doing them. So it kind of comes out like this when you take the image away. Anything, I can write this on a sticky and just post it on my mirror in the bathroom or my computer. So before we move on, I just want to see if everybody's, there's a purple. Yes, I'm a purple person. So the next part of this is the action plan and focusing on the road ahead. So as before, we have the little rear view mirror there, but now we're really going to put the pedal to the metal and focus on moving ahead. And I love this quote. And I mean, Helen Keller, come on. She, the optimism that she had is amazing. And, optimism, hope, confidence, what are all of these things that she's talking about here? Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. This is her attitude and her approach. So this is just how she came to her life. That's how she showed up every day. And I would like for you to find sort of an attitude and approach, just a couple of words, that how you're going to show up in 2021. And again, oops, wrong way. As you know, how I'm going to show up this year is practicer of imperfection. So that's how I'm showing up this year. I'm hoping to reach my goals. It might not be pretty, but this is how I'm going to go after it. And then when you, put that into action, and for those of you who also know that I am not good at math, I came up with this little math problem, and my son, who is much better at math than me, was laughing at me. That's not a math problem, Mom. But this whole times it by action, that's really where it amps up. That's really where things start to come together. So take 2 minutes, and you might have to hone your attitude and approach, but just off the top of your head, what's the attitude and approach you want to go into this year? Just blurt it out in the chat, and we'll take a look. I just am curious. And sometimes it's the first thing that comes to your mind that you end up sticking with, because it's there under the, under all the stuff. Positive thinking, yes. Be more chill, good. Persistence, grit, I love grit. Tenacity, yep, I've been accused of that too. Renewed confidence and a smile. Oh, results, yes, that's a data person. Yep, no excuses, optimism, don't be overwhelmed. Wow, you guys really have it. So you had it all right there, and it was just ready to come out. I am so excited that you are loose and not uptight. Nice, cool, authentic. I love that word. Strength and hope. Oh, this is great. Progress and very good. Thank you so much, Kristen. You and me, patience. We'll have to have our own special support group for that. So very cool. I am so excited for you guys to be sharing this part with me. So thank you. So now it's kind of time to put it all into action. So the secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your, and it's supposed to breaking your goals into complex, overwhelming tasks into smaller, manageable tasks, and then starting to do the first one. So that's super important. And I want you to just think right now, just commit to doing one task. It could be as simple as writing one of your goals on a sticky note and putting it on your computer. It could just be committing to calling a girlfriend after this meeting. It doesn't have to be huge, just state a first task. And if you also want to throw that in the chat too, that's awesome. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that, but that is the way to start. I was going to say small bite-sized pieces, but with me on the Whole30, that whole bite-sized thing takes on a whole new meaning. So in the goals in action, this is where you start doing sort of this weekly maintenance. And even if you don't meet weekly with your girlfriends, you still want to put attention to your goals weekly. You don't want to let it drag on monthly. Even if you're only going to have monthly meetings, catch-ups with your friends, make sure you're committing to things weekly, and even tiny small steps. If you can't get something, just do one little thing, and it'll just keep the momentum going, keep the ball rolling. So the first thing you'll do is say, what do you commit to this week? So you just committed to a small task, but what are you going to commit to this upcoming week? One thing you're going to commit to. And then I like you to commit 2 weeks out. What are you going to commit to the next week? Because I don't love it when we push out next week's goal, next week's goal, next week's goal. So if we have another one right behind it, we know that there's a couple of steps coming. That's my strategy coming out. Where do I want to be in 30 days with this? Because we can't always accomplish everything immediately. Where's reasonable to be in 30 days? What about 60 days? What about 90 days? So take the time, and especially with your group or on your own, to map out where you want to be. Now, it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to necessarily hit all those milestones, but you're going to keep things moving. And that is really the most important thing. So this could be considered results. How will you celebrate? Imagine how you'll feel when you get there, and what will you do to celebrate? Because we need to celebrate ourselves. And what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. So this is talking about the journey in who you transform into as you're working on your goals. So what will you do when you celebrate? I'm curious to know, and I think I put a little slide in here. How will you celebrate? Some people say, mani-pedi, night out, a day at the spa. I'm probably giving away all the ones that I like to do. So I would love to see what you guys celebrate, and it can be small too. I had one girl in a workshop who she had a reading goal, and her grandma had taught her the love of books, and she had a goal of reading a certain amount of books in a year. And she said that when she reached that goal, her first way of celebrating was calling her grandma. So I thought, I'm getting chills now. I thought that was pretty cool. That is imagine that was a great carrot out there for her, imagining how that call with her grandmother was going to go. So family trip to Jamaica. I'm coming. Costa Rica. Look at all these travel ones. Don't make me jealous. Yeah, cheesecake. I'm into that too. On the 31st. Yeah. Yes, dinner with Chris. No boys. I love this. This is great. This is great. Beers with my husband. Oh, that's nice. New bras. I love that one. Awesome. That one goes down. That's going down in history. Yeah, new wardrobe. Oh, Nancy's upping the game there. Vacation. Yes, Andrea, I'm going to go on vacation with you. That's my cousin, my long lost cousin. We grew up together, and she's now in Texas. So yeah, Texas and Arizona, folks. It's early there. So let's see. Okay, I'm trying to close out of this. Awesome. Thank you for sharing your celebrations with me. So now this is sort of the fun part. This is where I visualize, and this is where my ideation comes in. But it's your vision. This should also be in the PDF of the workbook. So you can print this out. I like to print it out and put it on a piece of bigger paper board that you can then put pictures around and really kind of jazz it up. But I mean, I come from a design background, so that's my thing. But this is how you'll kind of fill it out. So again, using, I hope you're not getting sick of my goals, but building up my coaching practice, which I'm going to get a little smarter in the future on that one. Whole30 for 30, and then launch that passion project that I'll tell you about later. Success symbol, we remember that that's my energy symbol. And then, how I plan to celebrate is girlfriend's getaway with all of my different girlfriend groups. So that'll keep me busy for a whole year, I'm assuming. A glass of wine, a good glass of wine, and maybe a week at a luxury spa. So that's a big dream. But I need it right now. Then you want to put your success statement, your strength statement in the corner. So I'm a strategic creative coach, inspiring people to realize their ideal future through strengths building, ideation, and a little patience. And then these are new to us, like those first ones here are something we just worked on, but this, and then the attitude and approach. So there's a few more new things that you'll want to think about. And it's super fun to do also with your girlfriends. So attitude and approach. So I'm practicing imperfection. My quote of the year is, if you can dream it, you can do it. My theme song, Suddenly I See. So you can see my visualization coming through all of this stuff with, if you can see it, you can dream. If you can dream it, you can do it. Suddenly I See. My go-to treat used to be Dell's Lemonade, deliciousness from Rhode Island, frozen lemonade. But since I'm on the Whole30, it's going to be a mani-pedi. And since it's also not summertime in Rhode Island. My de-stress tactic is taking Tito for a walk. And my support system are all my girlfriends. So just a sneak peek at who Tito is. This was one of our Sandy walks. He loves the beach. So, and he has a cute little orange life jacket. He's only 8 pounds. It's a little ridiculous. So the next thing is working with your goal groups, but I'm going to just check Tito. Thank you. Love him. Yes, we have one of Tito's babysitters on the line. Katie, thank you so much. She has a little Chihuahua, Ziggy, and Golden, Chloe, who babysit Tito from time to time. So thank you. So as you're getting your goal group together. Now, if you are doing this individually, please, this whole book was created initially just to work on individually or work on with another person. But if you're doing a goal group, these are the things that you can count on or to do with your goal group. Okay. So they're more than accountability partners, right? Your girlfriends are there to help get clarity over things. They really, they'll help you really hone in on those goals. It's always helpful when you have a second or third or fourth or fifth ear to really get clear with what you're trying to do. And then offering honest feedback. There's nobody like your girlfriends who can tell you like it is, right? So it's really important, and hopefully they know when tough love is appropriate and when maybe they need to back off, but no matter the style they give it in, you can always count on honest feedback from your girlfriends. Oops, backwards. They'll lift you up when you're down. So that if you're having a bad day, who you have to call. Who's going to be there to make you laugh or help you bring things into perspective. And I think your group can help you do that. You can commit to each other to help you do that. And then celebrating the wins. Like I said, I'm on a girlfriend's weekend, and how will they celebrate your wins? And I think you should talk about that in your group. Even the small wins. What do you do? Does everybody chip in for something? Figure out a creative way to celebrate both the big and the small wins. And then I love, obviously, Jane Austen's quote, "There is nothing I wouldn't do for those who are really my friends." And as you're formulating this group, it's funny, when I logged on, there's actually some groups sitting, like not just singular people apart at Zoom, but they're social distancing. I saw the masks, but they're in a group watching this together. So I think that's pretty cool that they gathered together to work to get started right away. So you're going to want to pick your pace. Is it a weekly meeting? Is it every other week? Is it once a month? If you guys are super busy, like, maybe it's more like a book club kind of thing where you work on your own and then you come and you talk about it. You're going to want to pick a leader, and whether it's one person who kind of leads the group all the time, that friend who always does that. You can put them in charge of running your group, or you can choose that you can alternate. Each week each meeting, somebody's a different facilitator or leader of that particular meeting, more like a book club, say. You'll want to solidify your goals together, because certainly doing it this fast, maybe you have them all set, but maybe you just need to think of them, or also, make them smarter. And then you're going to want to build up your strengths and talk to each other about what your strengths are and hone your vision, create your vision board. And maybe when COVID's done, or when we can at least socially distance, comfortably with scissors and paper, and maybe we can make a vision board together in person would be fun. You see Jen's popped up a poll here. Who's planning on doing it with friends? Who's not sure? That's fine. Honestly, it's fine to just do on your own. And then make sure that you're all celebrating each other's success. So cool. Yeah, a lot of you are here. So again, you know what? A group can be 2 people. It can be more. The harder it is to kind of get personal, but there's going to be a magic number in there that's right for you. And if you're doing it, you can certainly do this on your own. You can call me if you have any questions, for sure. So cool. Thank you. All right. Yeah, about 60% of you are doing it with friends, 10 without, and then about another 30 not sure. Cool. So thanks, Oprah. Love Oprah. We can't become what we need by remaining who we are. So that's why we all set goals and change and are constantly evolving. It's not because we're not happy with who we are. It's because there's always somewhere new to go. I think, do I have to close out this poll? Sorry. I'm going to close that out. Okay. So I'm going to wrap up here in just a minute. About that passion project, I would love you guys, after sort of any Q&A, after sort of we wrap up, to stick around for a small focus group. Actually, Jen, the other poll popped up. I don't know if you can take it down until we get to that section. Hopefully that's coming down. So I will talk about my passion project after we wrap up, but and certainly if you have things to do and go, feel free to do that. I would love to be connected with you guys. Thank you for signing up. You'll be on my mailing list for future. I don't mail a lot, trust me. But for future things like this that might come up, and I'm definitely on the social media platforms. Twitter, I'm not so active on, so you'll find me in the other 3 spots more regularly. And you can always email hello@christieri.com, and that will get over to me. And I'd like to thank all of you who donated 2021 to Girls Inc. This is a really great organization, and actually the executive director's on the call with us today and doing part of the goals workshop herself. So really just a great organization. And I couldn't sort of think of a better way to have everybody participate and give a little back. It's just a little that will go a long way. So thank you so much for doing that. Victoria Waterman is the executive director, and she and I have gone, we're in speaking circles together, and we've been professionally acquainted for many, many years. So thank you so much, Victoria, for all the amazing work that you guys do. So we can send the link out again for a donation when that happens. So does anyone have any questions on the goal setting, the action planning, the workbook, anything like that? Oh, excellent. Thanks, Jen. Jen put the link. If you didn't have a chance or you want to donate to Girls Inc., Jen put it in the link. So thank you for that. So please put your questions. I'll give just a couple minutes to see if people have questions, and I'll go through them. We have a little time to go through. And then if anyone wants to stick around, I am going to explain my passion project. It's imperfect, trust me, and where I'm headed with it. And it's kind of like a little focus group I want to do. I want to get your opinion on it, that kind of thing. So some of you might have gotten a sneak peek. So, oh, hi, Ron. We had a couple of guys actually on the meeting too. So I apologize for sort of blanketly saying girlfriends, but one of my former fellow agency owners were partners, a guy and a gal, and I miss all of you. I don't miss owning the agency, but I miss all of my agency owners. How's that? So as Jen said, if you have an anonymous question about the goals workshop or anything, you can send it to her and she can get it to me anonymously. So. All right. So again, you can also email us if you have any questions after. So I'm going to go on now to my passion project. So thanks to anybody who wants to stay around for that. If you have to leave, totally understand. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you spending your Saturday morning with me and all the other girlfriends. So, okay. What is a passion project? I'm not even really sure. So I had a colleague who just sold out of his business, and he had such a great, well, first of all, he's taken a sabbatical for like a year, and then he's going to be pursuing his passion project for what he called the back half of his career. And I just love that because I thought, wow, what like an inspiration, and it really keeps you on track and for getting to what jazzes you and what your passions are really all about. So I kind of adopted that, and I came up. So it's a project. I don't even know exactly what it is yet. It's kind of a platform, and that's what we'll talk about in a second. But what it is called Laughter, Leadership, Motherhood, Wine, and it's a little. You can see where it's going. It also has a little sidekick. Laughter, Leadership, Fatherhood, Beer. The guys are a little less participatory than the girls, so this is really the one that's going to lead it at first. So. What is it? I'm not sure. It could be a book, a blog. It could be a podcast, or it could be a video series of me interviewing people who are both in leadership positions and also mothers. It could be people who like to just drink a lot of wine and laugh, which is hopefully mostly everybody here, because that's my experience with you guys. So it will be something. It could be a workshop. It could be a retreat. I just feel like there's so many parallels between sort of being a leader or being in a professional setting, and then also being a parent. And sometimes, managing people is like managing toddlers, right? So I just feel like there's a lot of meat there. And I know I have my own sort of examples, but I kind of want to hear from others. So who would this platform be for? It's going to be for professional women who are ready to change things up. They're tired and uninspired, and they could use a little understanding, a big glass of wine, and a really good belly laugh. So if it's a book or a blog, I would hope that when people read about what's stories from Laughter, Leadership, Motherhood, Wine, that they will get a good chuckle out of everything and just identify with what it is. Why would somebody want to be a part of it? When women engage with the project, they're going to be with others. It'll be a community, and they're going to learn from people like themselves who've tried to balance that parenthood and profession, and often with hilarious results. And as I mentioned, my former business partner, Jean, is on the call, and she has probably witnessed it all. And I'm assuming, empathy and understanding is at the top of her strengths for what I brought to the table during my son's childhood years. But, things like me showing up with him in tow one day at the office because I brought him to kindergarten a day early. And he said, "Aunt Jeannie, my friends just weren't there." And I said, okay, so Oscar's going to spend the day at work with us at Smith & Jones at the time was the name. So Jean set him up with a box of office supplies, and he went around selling paper clips, tape, Post-it notes to all the employees. And so she was very understanding, but that was that juggle, So hopefully this project will provide a perspective and allow women to be empowered, to be their best and most authentic selves at work and at home. And hopefully they can enjoy the ride. I look back and I think I might've been a little bit uptight during some of that. And it might've been good to just be able to relax and enjoy. And I hope that this project would bring some of that perspective to others. So, why am I doing this? Okay, so I have been there and survived to tell the tales. I think this seed was planted way back when my son Oscar was probably 3 or 4 years old. He was a precocious little guy back then anyway, but I remember pulling up to a stoplight, and he was sitting in the back in his little car seat, and he leans forward very seriously. "Mommy, I want to know if we're 100% satisfied with our internet connection. So I knew at that point in time, he was sitting a little bit too much in front of the TV. And I think he followed up with, did you know Chicago is the greatest rock band of all times? You can get a 3 golden albums for 5 easy payments of $19.99. And right at that moment, I said, okay, my balance is a little off. So there are countless other women who have lived or are living this life. And I know that if I can do it again, I do it with more perspective, more humor, and much better wine. So that is sort of why I'm doing it. And again, not sure what it is yet, but if you want to put the poll up, I would love to know if this is something that sounds interesting to you personally, or to you, like you think other people would get involved in it. Do you think that, how do you see it coming to life? Like, how would you, if you were interested, how would you engage with this? Would it be a blog? Would you like to read a book? Is it YouTube? How do you want to engage in this? You'll see there's a whole number of things. You can pick whatever you want. And then last but not least, would you be interested in participating in, I have a lot of storyteller friends on the on this call, I know. So I'm assuming that you guys would give me a story or two, but if anybody else wants to, would you be interested in telling us your story? And if so, email Jen and we'll get you on a list. Again, I don't have any immediate plans to do like interviews or anything like that, but I'm ramping up and I put it out there. So again, you guys will hold me accountable, but I'm loving to see, let's see, blog, book, podcast. Nice. Okay. YouTube, webinar, retreat. That was the one I really want to do. Like, can you imagine, like, we just have like this retreat where we work on stuff all day and then we have like a wine tasting. And I know my good friend, Kate from Brimfield Winery is on the call as well. And I know that she is an expert with wine. So that would be fun to do. So maybe a retreat, maybe virtually at first, but maybe we can eventually meet in person. This is cool. A podcast, huh? Yeah, they scare me. I did take a podcasting seminar and it's a lot of work, but it seems like it would be super fun to just, gab with the gals. So maybe that's a good one. And a lot of you, thank you for being interested in contributing a story. Again, not sure what it is, not sure what the parameters are, but I know I have 1,000,001 stories up my sleeve about trying to do the juggle. And I appreciate that. So, so Kate, I just want to point out that my cousin said antique red, great wine, because we sent her a bottle. She's the one in Texas right now, but I can attest, she was just drinking it the other night. So, okay, Kristen, I get it. Multitask with the podcasts. Somebody couldn't see the poll, but hopefully they can now. Can she teach me to like wine? So that's it. I just want to express my really deep gratitude for you guys coming on today and spending this time with me. And I'll probably send a follow-up survey asking you some things about this, because I've never done a webinar myself before. I've certainly been on a number of them or been a guest speaker. So this is the first one we've actually done ourselves, and would love to get your honest feedback, because you're my girlfriend. You're going to tell me it like it is. Honest feedback and your interest to see if there's more. I have some other workbooks and workshops that I like to do, and maybe taking them online right now while we're all trying to, contain ourselves is the way to do it. And it's fun to get together. So, and maybe we can do one over wine too. So I hope you guys don't think I'm an alcoholic, because I think all I did was talk about wine during this whole project here. But so great to see all of you. Thank you. Reach out if you have any questions. I guess that's it. Love you guys. All right. Oh, I'm still watching the comments, but you can go, but you don't have to. You can hang around. Aw, thank you guys. Aw. Aw, hugs. See, now if I only seen everybody's faces. Thank you all.